The magic school bus in the rainforest. In the rainforest. Our teacher, Miss Frizzle, is full of surprises, but on her birthday, we wanted to surprise her for a change. We shipped in and bought her some special birthday presents. All these wonderful gifts have one thing in common. They do? The freeze had almost opened up all her gifts. There was just one box left. She picked it up and shook it. It's from my great-uncle Fudge, Miss Frizzle said. He's president of the Chocobite Chocolate Factory. Strange. For my birthday, he usually sends me a large shipment of cocoa beans from my cocoa tree in the rainforest. When Miss Frizzle opened the box, she found a note and one shriveled up cocoa bean. She read the note. Dear niece, I'm sorry for the poor crop this year. For some reason, your cocoa tree is experiencing a cocoa bean shortage. Happy birthday anyway. Your great-uncle Fudge. Miss Frizzle has her own cocoa tree? I'm not surprised. The Importance of Cocoa Beans by Arnold. Cocoa beans are one of the most important crops in the world because they are used to make chocolate. How to make chocolate. In a tropical rainforest, cocoa seeds, or beans, grow inside pods. Workers cut off the ripe pods and scoop out the beans. The beans are covered, fermenting stage, and left to rest for 7 to 10 days. Then they are dried and shipped to the chocolate factory. At the factory, the beans are cleaned and ground into a substance called chocolate liqueur. All chocolate products are made from chocolate liqueur. What is a tropical rainforest? A tropical rainforest is a forest where it's wet and warm all year round. The rain and heat help many kinds of trees and plants grow fast. The trees and plants make good homes for zillions of animals. Why isn't your cocoa tree making beans? Tim asked. Miss Frizzle's eyes lit up. A reasonable question, Tim, she said. She headed for the door. And I know where we can find the answer. Everyone to the bus. Next stop, a tropical rainforest. That's what Miss Frizzle meant. All these gifts come from the rainforest. Gifts from the rainforest. Many of our favorite foods and plants were first discovered in rainforests. Rainforest plants are used to make such products as skin lotion, herbal tea, and life-saving drugs. The next minute, we were aboard the magic blimp bus on our way to find Miss Frizzle's cocoa tree. Whoa, said Carlos as we floated above the rainforest. It's wall-to-wall trees down there. The tree tops are so close together that it looks like they're connected to each other. Phoebe said. Keisha was worried. How are we ever going to find Miss Frizzle's tree? Where are the tropical rainforests? By Wanda. Tropical rainforests are all near the Earth's equator, where the weather is always warm. What is the equator? By Phoebe. The equator is an imaginary line around the Earth's middle. Miss Frizzle gave us waterproof ponchos to put on and handed us each an umbrella. There's one thing you can count on in a rainforest, she said. It's rain. Liz opened a hatch in the bottom of the blimp bus. Miss Frizzle continued to there. 3, counted to 3, and we jumped. There's no place on Earth like a rainforest. By Arnold. Rainforests cover only a small part of Earth, but half of all kinds of plants and animals live there. In my old school, we never jumped out of blimps. I hope there aren't any holes in this umbrella. The Green Roof, Part 1 by Keisha. The tallest trees form a roof over the rainforest floor. This level of the rainforest is called the canopy. Down, down we floated. Look at all the different kinds of trees, Phoebe said. And insects, cried Wanda. And birds, Alma pointed out. According to my research, the rainforest has more than 1,500 kinds of butterflies, seen only in the rainforest. 300 different kinds of trees in an area the size of 2 football fields. 50 different kinds of ants and 1,000 different kinds of beetles in a space the size of a 2-car garage. Tim landed on the branch of a leafy fruit-filled tree. He saw a strange plant sitting on the branch. Wow, he called. There's a whole little world right inside this plant. Right you are, Tim, the Frizz called as she floated past. That plant is called a bromeliad. These plants are named after a scientist from Sweden, Olaf Bromelius, who first discovered them. Olaf Bromelius says, great discovery by Tim. A bromeliad doesn't need soil. It grows right on a tree. A tight ring of leaves on top of the plant catches rainwater and makes a little pond. Dozens of small animals and plants live in the pond. The Green Roof, Part 2 by Keisha. More animals live in the canopy than in any other part of the rainforest. Many spend their whole lives in the tree tops. They never touch the ground at all. Orchids. As we floated down to the level below the canopy, the forest grew darker, but there were still bright patches of sunlight. Hummingbirds, bats, ants, tree frogs, bows, ocelots. A note from D.A. The trees below the canopy are called the understory. A Feast for Anteaters by Wanda. One rainforest in Central America has 135 kinds of ants. For an anteater, that's a different ant meal every day for 4 months. Look for this tree. There go our umbrellas. This place is crawling with creatures. Finally, we were on the 4th floor. Somewhere down here was Miss Frizzle's cocoa tree. But where? Life in the Leaf Litter by Carlos. Fallen leaves make a layer of soil called the leaf litter. All kinds of bugs and animals live in the leaf litter, even snakes and scorpions. Suddenly, it started to rain hard. We were glad we still had our rain ponchos, but a little rain wouldn't stop us from finding Miss Frizzle's tree. Wet, Wetter, Wettest by Arnold. A rainforest has 2 seasons, wet and not so wet. About 6 feet of rain falls each year. Some places get more than 18 feet. It rains hard for a short time, almost every day. Then the sun comes out again. Comparison: rainforest, Louisiana, Nevada. What is the wettest part of the U.S.? Louisiana gets almost 4 feet of rain a year. They should send some to Nevada. It only gets 9 inches a year. These other trees don't have pods either. My tree! This cocoa tree should have pods. The Truth About Cocoa Trees by Carlos. Pods are the fruit of the cocoa tree. Many trees grow their leaves and flowers before their fruit. Cocoa trees are different. They have leaves, flowers, and fruit all the time. Fruit facts. Fruits contain seeds. These are all fruits: apple, peach, pear, orange, cocoa pod. The rain stopped just as we came to a patch of trees that was surrounded by a fence. These are cocoa trees, Miss Frizzle said. Why did someone put a fence around them? Ralphie asked. We went through the gate. Miss Frizzle's tree was right in the middle of the path. It had lots of flowers, but no pods. A minute was in a Stop, stop, we called. I am Inspector number 47 of the Sugar Bite Factory, and you're trespassing on my patch of cocoa trees. Is that so? Dorothy A. Max said. Well, this tree belongs to Miss Frizzle, and we would like to know why it doesn't have any pods. The man shook his head. It's a mystery. I think that Inspector 46 has been messing around with my trees. He's jealous of my clean, mud-free zone. Thanks to my fence, you will not find any pesky pecaries making mud walls in my land. No nasty bugs either. Soon I will get promoted over him. Someday I might even be Inspector number 1. And now it is time for my lunch, the inspector said as he walked off. Don't forget to close the gate when you leave. What are pecaries? They are small wild pigs. We may be in for a wild time. I'll bet that there's another reason the trees have stopped making pods, Wanda said. Just then we saw a hummingbird flying from one orchid flower to another with pollen on its beak. We knew that flowers needed to be pollinated in order to grow into the fruit, such as cocoa beans and pods. Pollen! Tim cried. Maybe Miss Frizzle's tree didn't get pollinated. A note from D.A. Pollinate means to carry pollen from one flower to another. This may be a case of missing pollen. But Miss Frizzle's flowers had plenty of pollen. Pollen has to travel for its secret to unravel. Chief pollinators of the rainforest. Birds, bats, insects. Watch out, cried Arnold. Here comes a bee. I think it's going to pollinate Miss Frizzle's tree. No way, Arn, D.A. said. The bee is too big to get into a cocoa tree flower. There must be some really tiny insects to carry pollen between cocoa flowers, Tim said. But where are they? This may be a case of missing insects. We'll find them. To the bus. Our bus was back just in time to help us look for the tiny insect that could pollinate Miss Frizzle's cocoa tree. As we left Inspector 47's cocoa patch, we heard a message over a loudspeaker. You are now leaving the mud-free zone. Beware of the peccaries, the bugs, and the filthy mud. Boy, I want to say. And Inspector 47 sure hates mud. I bet the mud-free zone has something to do with the missing cocoa beans. A connection worth the diction, Tim. Peccaries make ditches. When peccaries wallow in the mud to cool off, they make dishes. Rain fills up the ditches to make little drinking bowls. Peccaries poke around. Peccaries root in the fourth leaf litter to find food. Fruit, seeds, plants, and small snakes. Look out! Peccaries ahead! D.A. called out suddenly. Miss Frizzle slammed on the brakes, and the bus went skidding through the mud. The peccaries ran off into the forest, followed by some black and white birds and lots of little bugs. None birds follow peccaries. The birds eat the insects that fly out of the leaf litter when peccaries look for food. We got out of the bus to look around and found ourselves ankle deep in a mud wall. Welcome to Mudville, D.A. said. You mean Bugwell, Tim said, swatting out the insects that were swarming around us. This bug happens to go by the name of midfly, Tim, Miss Frizzle informed him. Suddenly, we heard Keisha calling out, Look, everybody! All these cocoa trees are filled with pods. The cocoa trees were right next to the peccaries' mud well. We could see the midflies around the flowers. Tim had an idea. Quick, D.A., give me that magnifying glass. Tim stared through the magnifying glass at an insect in the mud. It seems that a watery mud wall is a perfect place for laying eggs and raising baby midflies. In short, a mud wallow for peccaries is also home sweet home for midflies. I get it. Midflies carry the pollen from one cocoa flower to the next, and the pollinated flowers grow into pods that are filled with cocoa beans that are used to make chocolate. Now we knew what had happened to Miss Frizzle's tree. We must inform the inspector and Stanley, the Frizz announced. All aboard the bus! Inspector 47 was back from lunch. Dorothy Ann held up a glass jar with midflies. Sighed. This is what your cocoa trees need, Mr. Inspector. Without midflies, the flowers cannot get pollinated and make pods. And midflies cannot be born without the mud wallows the peccaries make, Tim said. Mud? Peccaries? Oh dear, oh dear. The inspector's face turned up. You mean the trees need these animals in order to grow beans? What have I done? and I will never get promoted. We left the gate open. Here come the Pecaries. Don't be so sad, Phoebe said. We can repair the link between the Pecaries and cocoa beans by returning things to the way they were, can't we? The Inspector snapped his fingers. Yes, he cried. The fence will come down tomorrow. Uh-oh, Tim said. We may not have to wait until tomorrow. I think I hear the pounding of Pecarie hooves coming this way right now. Just as the Pecaries came running to the mud-free zone, it started to pour. The dry mud wells filled with water, and the Pecaries rolled around in the flush mud. It's raining again? It's a rainforest. When the rain stopped, the hot, humid air was filled with the buzz of midge-flies. Hurrah! The inspector cried. The midge-flies are back. Now my trees will grow lots of beans again. I'll get a promotion after all. Good luck, we called as we climbed back into the bus pickup. Miss Frizzle pulled a lever and the pickup whirled itself onto the flying blimp bus. We were on our way home. When we got back home, Miss Frizzle told us some bad news about the rainforests of the world. They are disappearing. That's because rainforests are being burned or cut down to make room for new villages and farms, and to get wood or fuel or to make furniture and paper products. Every year there is less rainforest than there was the year before. All over the world, people are trying to find ways to stop the destruction before it's too late. Why should the rainforest should be saved by Miss Frizzle's class? It's a beautiful place. People need the plants for food and medicines, teach them. The rainforest is a home for more than 1,500 types of butterflies. 10. The rainforest is home to millions of creatures. Carlos, saving the rainforest would save many animals from becoming extinct because they need the rainforest for food and shelter. Arnold, taking away the rainforests could change the weather all over the world. Wanda, there may be some really important plants we don't even know about yet. Ralphie. A few months later, Miss Frizzle got another delivery from the Chocobite Chocolate Factory. There was a note. It's from the inspector, Miss Frizzle said. She read the note to us. I am happy to report that your tree is doing very well now. A full shipment of cocoa beans is on its way. Very truly yours, Inspector 22. P.S. Thanks to you, I got a big promotion. The end. I hope you like this book.